for the scanning systems that are coming out. We're also going to be changing the ticketing areas to allow more self-check-in options, as well as making improvements to the existing parking garages in terms of enhanced lighting, some structural modifications, and some signage and some security. Some of the things that we're going to do external is we're going to try to emphasize architecturally some of the main terminal entries on the concourses. We're going to have new vertical cores. We're going to be putting in high-capacity elevators. We're going to be getting rid of all of the existing escalator complexes that run between the ticketing level and the ground level. We'll be putting in all new high-capacity elevators in those spaces. It opens up the floor space within the terminal and gives us a lot more usable operational space. We're also looking at some enhancements on the curbside with entry canopies, some covered pedestrian crossings at the main entrances into the parking garages, and then again, just refurbishment and upgrading of the existing garages, as well as a couple new garages that we're looking at to add additional capacity. The ticketing areas are going to be reconfigured in order to try to allow a lot more new self-service technology where you'll be able to come in and do your own ticketing. You don't have to have ticket agents waiting on you. We're going to have a little bit more enhancement of the premium check-in capabilities for the airlines. And this is all to increase the passenger flows and create a more of a sense of place and increase a lot of the natural lighting within the terminal. We're looking at putting in new skylights and opening up the space with some new glass walls to allow visibility throughout the terminal a lot more so than you have right now. The checkpoints are going to be turned basically to follow the layout of the terminal. They're going to incorporate all of the new TSA technology that they're having to put in these days, and it'll allow just more access space for queuing and getting a lot more of the people through quicker than you currently experience in some of the terminals. As I mentioned a while ago, we're trying to get some groups of the concessions that are going to be located in general vicinity around the Skylink stations, where you have people coming and going within the terminal buildings. We're trying to create, an enhanced revenue generation capability within the terminal buildings, and we're trying to integrate the revenue seating with some of the gate lounge seating in these areas, which you'll see a little bit more in some future exhibits. What we're doing right now is we've got several enabling projects that we're calling them that allows us to get an early start on some of the construction activities that are going to allow us to then go into the main terminals when we get ready to do the major remodeling work and do some of the demolition and the shutdown of the terminal areas. What we're doing right now is we're looking at changing some configurations of the gate, of the baggage, the baggage systems. We're looking at putting in some additional terminal link roadways. We're doing some escalator upgrades, and a lot of the stuff that we need to do that will allow us, when we're ready to go in and do a major remodel on the terminals, to be able to have some of these additional facilities in place to allow that to happen. Once the master plan was completed, and it's currently where we really are right now, is the programming and schematic design phase of the project. This is due to wrap up around the middle of June of this year. It's been worked on basically by URS Lopez Garcia team. It's really trying to refine the elements that were identified in the terminal master plan and establishing the complete scope and budget for the design process, which is currently getting underway. Part of that schematic design effort included existing condition assessments, prioritization of various program elements, developing a master schedule, and as you can see there, just a lot more elements that came into what really defined the program and set the overall schedule and budget for the program. The design phase is beginning. It started in late March, and it's going to run through February 2011. This is the initial design that's going to be put into place in order to be able to start the detailed construction work in the terminals shortly after the Super Bowl in 2011. As you can see on the schedule right now, we're anticipating that Terminal A will begin first. It'll be starting in February of 11, right after the Super Bowl, and it's scheduled to run for approximately 3 years. It'll be opening in 2014. Shortly after Terminal A starts, we're going to be starting work on Terminal E, and then after another 6 months or so after E, we'll start Terminal B, and then Terminal C will start once Terminal A is complete and open. So A and C run in order, and B and E overlap. So the overall duration of the program right now looks to be wrapping up around 2017, when all the terminals will be complete and open. What we're trying to do is make sure that we continue the good track record we've had at the airport of opening up opportunities for the MWBE firms and small businesses in the community. In the past year alone, MWBEs have earned over $150 million in concession sales at DFW. And we're going to try to continue to open up the opportunities during the development of this program through the design and the construction process to create opportunities like that. And what I'd like to do now, if we could take a minute, I'll get the video on that we can show you.
That can really compete with DFW. You know, I've gone to airports all around the world, and I've seen, you know, great concession program. I've seen great facilities, but what I haven't seen in those other airports are the men and women that represented in this particular room, our concessionaires and those who want to be concessionaires and those who really, truly care about DFW Airport, and that's what really makes this airport great. I don't know if Chalmer is here, but Chalmer has been on me for the last probably 3 years about the infrastructure of DFW Airport, and really conveying to me the difficulties of operating on airport with an infrastructure that's 35 to 40 years old. I wish I was here. I wish he was here so that I can tell him that, you know what, we're doing something about that. As you heard, probably the majority of the funds that are set aside is to improve the infrastructure of this airport. New utilities, new plumbing, new electrical, technology, all of those types of things are going to be brand new to this airport, and it's going to take us into the next 30 years. So I'm really excited about that. So those concessionaires that are here really grinding through a lot of the issues of operating in a 40-year-old airport, well, help is on the way. It won't be very long before we have a totally new infrastructure. So I can't tell you how excited I am about this opportunity, about what it means to DFW Airport, what it means to our community, and what it means to our overall concessions community around the country. So thank you for coming. If there are anything that me or my staff can do to answer any questions or provide you with any information, make sure you let us know. We're excited you're here, and we're excited about what you're about to see. And I think we got it. We're queuing up. I don't know if you guys can see from way in the back. I know I couldn't, but I don't know if you've seen the video or the rendering of what we think this TDP project's gonna look like. So here's a look, a sneak peek at what DFW is gonna look like in the next 6 to 8 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your patience here. What you're going to see here is the architect's rendition of what we think this space is going to look like when we get it finished. These are some of the new entrances that we had talked about, where we're going to put in signage and some canopies to increase the obvious entrance to these various portals. As you come into the area within the airport, you'll notice that we have a lot of self-service ticket counters. We're going to be opening up the back wall with a lot more glass so that the visibility through the terminal will be there. That doesn't currently exist today. Once you have the opportunity to get a bag, ticket You can take the bag, you'll see here in a second, over and just drop it off on a conveyor belt, and it goes right into the system. And then you turn and you walk in and go through the passenger check-in security area, which has now been rotated. That goes with the length of the terminal rather than across it like it exists today, for more queuing space and more equipment space. Once you come out from within that secure area, you come out into what's going to be some of the concession areas that are going to be created, focusing mostly around the Skylink stations, where we have the entrances coming and going from the Skylink on both sides of the station. We're going to be trying to enhance some of the seating areas, integrating them in with the concession spaces. You can see some of the skylights that we're getting some more natural light into the space. We're going to be redoing all of the interior spaces to try to bring them up to be more like the Terminal D facility. Again, we're going to try to have a little bit more